Good evening, everyone. Phil here. Welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Saturday, the 27th of April, 2024. A pretty good variety day of streaming. Something brand new being tried out today, which I want to give you the results of. A good podcast discussing a hot topic in gaming right now, and more. So let's begin, shall we? First of all, I just want to let you know that the popularity of part one of my Fallout 4 playthrough continues as of now, which I actually haven't checked since earlier. It has over 29,000 views in climbing. Likely it will continue to increase only because, yes, that video is still being minorly recommended as a video for the next-gen version of the game that people thought that it had come out that night, and it did not. We're 29,161 in climbing, okay? Likely, it'll probably hit around 30K and then stop. That's my guess, because you could definitely tell that each day it's tapering off more and more. Like, the first day it was like 25,000. The next day it was like 28. Today was 29. So, we're reaching the end basically of any views it's going to get. But, I hope that you will continue to watch and enjoy the Fallout 4 playthrough as it continues, over the course of the next several weeks, regardless of how many people are watching part one. Okay. Anyway, so today's Level 1 podcast primarily focused on a big news story about Stellar Blade and the controversy behind it because the game was completely 100% advertised as going to have this certain kind of gore and sexual content in it, and that it was going to be uncensored worldwide. The game dropped yesterday and immediately got censored with a patch. So people are upset, and rightfully so. I cover all the aspects of this story on the podcast, and people had different opinions about it. I hope that you will check it out. It was a hot topic, and it probably will continue to be a hot topic for the foreseeable future. All right? Then we jumped into a brand new game called Another Crab's Treasure. And yes, this absolutely is a game that is attempting to emulate the FromSoft formula when it comes to the hyper difficulty, the traversal, the combat, and the checkpoint system. So a lot of things incredibly similar to a Dark Souls game. The combat, I would say, does play like Dark Souls, except that there is a parry system. I wish I could tell you how it works because I didn't get it till the very end of my stream today. So I don't know how it works yet because I just unlocked it and haven't had an opportunity to test it. What I can tell you is this. If you like Dark Souls, you're probably going to like the game. But the one thing I will say is the control scheme, they purposefully made it to play like Dark Souls, and allow me to explain what I mean by that. So when you do inputs, you're committing to them, meaning you cannot do anything to interrupt them until those movements are complete. So in Dark Souls, if you go R1, 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 you better be ready for 3 R1s to come out. If you want to interrupt that then with a dodge, it's not going to happen, right? Same thing in this game. This game actually has a 4-hit combo, 3 regular swings, and the 4th swing is like a power swing that does a big chunk of damage and stun, but you have to commit to hitting it. It's like a big buildup of having those 3 swings before you get to the good one. So it's an interesting mechanic in that way. Yes, there's a stun bar. The more you hit enemies, the stun bar builds. Once it fills, you can knock down an enemy and stun them. However, the ability to do a visceral attack or a big, powerful attack when they're downed is unlocked in a skill tree. So you don't even have that by default. In addition, you don't have the parrying by default. That's something you have to unlock in the skill tree around 3 hours into the game. But one thing that totally 100% is 100% copied off from FromSoft, things don't happen until you release the button. So, for example, an enemy is coming at you and swings, and if you just press circle, you will not dodge. You have to press and then release. And as you release the button, then you dodge. Sadly, what happens, though, is that when you are fighting enemies for the first time and you see their attacks, I want to dodge. You'll never dodge on reaction because you're going to press the button. It's too late. To have to press and release is kind of silly in my opinion. I get that it's a FromSoft thing, but many other games have been made that were Soulsborne-esque or Souls-likes that have the instant dodge, and it makes it more fair, and they decided not to go that route in this game. I found that quite annoying. Also, although, again, the game is solid, it has good exploration, it has good hidden items and platforming and fun stuff like that, it is a bit wonky. Number one, the platforming is imprecise. Sometimes I landed right on the platform and I go whoop and slip off. So obviously the physics or whatever it is aren't perfect. In addition, sometimes the camera would be crazy and go behind a wall when you're fighting. So now you can't see what's going on in the fight because everything's blocked by a wall that passed in front of the camera. That's unacceptable. That totally shouldn't happen. Maybe those are things that they'll fix and patch later on, but right now they are annoyances for me. But anyway, 3 hours in, I fought multiple bosses. In fact, this game has an Easter egg. Right when you start, there's a boss. And it's optional. It's much like a FromSoft game. Like, remember Elden Ring, when it's first you go out into the open world, there's a boss right there, the Tree Sentinel? Literally, it's like the same exact style of fight. It's not the same boss, but it's the same idea. And he's really hard. I ended up taking about half an hour and I beat him, but that's the hardest thing in the game so far. Like, I fought other multiple bosses that I beat way more easily than that first boss that was in the game because it was meant to be an optional challenge. Anyway. So far, I really like the game. The audience seemed to be split, and here's what I mean. For those who like the Soulsborne style gameplay and combat, they were like, oh, I get it. It makes sense. It's kind of neat in that way. But because the game is cartoony, because the game is drawn in a cutesy manner, I think a lot of people are like, that's again, I don't know how I like how it looks. It's not gothic. It's not gory. It's not dark like FromSoft, right? So they're having a hard time swallowing it just because of the visuals. It's not the gameplay mechanics. It's totally the visuals that are making people have a hard time accept this game. Personally, the visuals don't bother me at all. I'm actually finding them neat and refreshing. But for me, it's a little bit of the wonkiness of the game that's making it a little bit more annoying than I would like. But I still like it. And after the first stream, I am gung-ho to play more of it later this week. Unlike Harold Halibut, where everyone was like, oh, no, don't do it. In this case, I definitely want to keep going and see where the game goes. So we're going to do another stream of it on Tuesday. Okay? Videos are live, all three. Check them out. It's about 3 hours of gameplay. Let me know what you think on the videos of Another Crab's Treasure. Okay? Tonight was the first late night stream of Helldivers 2. And I was curious, after having Helldivers 2 be a daytime stream for the last 3-4 weeks since I started playing it in early April, how it would perform. You want me to be honest? Not very well. Way less viewers, probably about over 100 less viewers than when I play it on a day stream. Engagement at some points was great, and at other points was dead, like no one was talking. I'm like, what's going on? I'm playing the game. There's action on the screen. Why are you, kind of nodding off? And support was terrible, all right? Like, no exaggeration, I didn't even make like $20 on the stream. Now, is that a horrible end of the world thing? Absolutely not. And I'm not giving up on Helldivers 2 because of one slow night. This has happened with other games and then it picks up. But it is disheartening that basically what I'm seeing is that all these games are kind of competing for the mainstream slot. And a lot of them do much better in the mainstream slot, like Helldivers. But I just can't have every game during the day. I can't. There have to be games that are played during the prime hours and then the games that are played at night. And I can't really do much about that. I can't clone myself and stream twice at the same time of day. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And I think if you're doing multiplayer games, it makes more sense for multiplayer to be on the night streams because those can be shortened streams as opposed to if I'm playing a new game like Another Crab's Treasure or Fallout 4 that's narrative based and you want to make a good chunk of progress every time you play it, you want those to be daytime streams, right? So yeah, I'm really not sure what to do about Helldivers 2. I like the game. I want to keep playing it. In fact, tonight we started at level 19 and we hit 21. We actually unlocked the force field, and man, the force field's really good. It's actually better than the guard dog laser turret drone that I was using, and it actually allowed me to not only survive longer, but get this, tonight I had the longest, most epic match of Helldivers 2 I've done yet. Basically, the whole team was dead, and I had to survive by myself. And then I started getting the reinforcements back, and then they died again. I was like, oh my god. And then the game had this issue where it said that we had rescued 20 of 20 survivors, but it didn't trigger the ending of the mission. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Why didn't it trigger the ending of the mission? I'm lost. So it was pretty bad, but let me just put it this way. It was absolutely nail-bitingly down to the wire last second. I'm not going to tell you what happened at the end, but it was epically fun and crazy. So I wish more people were on the stream because I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this was the best match of Helldivers I've ever done. And half the audience was there to see it. So I hope people will check out the on-demand videos. And I hope that if people can make it to these streams in the future, they will. I am disappointed because not only was it the best, Helldivers I've ever done, but, I want to keep this game alive. I like it in the rotation. It just didn't work well as a late stream for whatever reason. I don't know what to do about that. Okay. So anyway, that's today, okay? Tomorrow, it's React Day, meaning podcast here on DSP Gaming, DSP versus the Internet Clips React show on DSP Reacts, and then on the late stream, over on the DSP Throwback channel, continuing my retro replay streams of The Walking Dead Telltale Series Season 1. We're actually going to resume with Episode 3 and finish that off and then start up Episode 4. I don't know how far we'll get into it. I think we'll probably get a good chunk into 4, and it's possible that maybe next week we may even finish it. I'm not sure, meaning the entire Season 1. It depends on how far we get tomorrow night. But excited for that. I really enjoyed those streams the last few weeks. I hope you'll join me for it. React Day is always a refreshing break from gameplay, but don't worry, gameplay returns on Monday with Fallout 4 and Elden Ring Haley Tree on the late stream. If you're wondering, well, when's Another Crab's Treasure? When's Helldivers? Well, Another Crab's Treasure will be Tuesday's day stream. Tuesday night is Street Fighter 6 with Zangief, actually doing some ranked. And then Wednesday's day stream will be likely more Fallout 4. And then Wednesday night, I'll probably finish my streaming week with Helldivers 2. Okay? Thank you all. Please enjoy the videos. Thanks for the support. See you in the morning for React Day. Peace out.